my name is Jerry Stroop. Today we're going to be doing a very gentle yoga exercise to warm up our spines and also to balance out our hormones. But before we get started, if you do like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. This again is going to be a very gentle, most of it is going to be seated. You do not have to be seated right now. I'm actually seated just on my couch cushion. So you don't need anything fancy. You don't need to go out and buy any products. This is just my standard couch cushion. I find it really cushy and nice. So just something that you can sit on. You can sit directly on the ground. For me, I'm actually about 7 months pregnant, so it's a little bit easier for me to sit with my hips a bit more up. So please, again, find ways to make yourself the most comfortable during this experience, because when we feel comfort in our practice, we're going to stick with it and do it longer. So, for my next point, I want you to honor your body. If you feel our body changes from day to day. So, there are some days where I feel like I can go down and reach my toes, but then the next morning I may wake up and I might not be able to get there. Our body is constantly changing, so we have to honor where we're at today. Also, don't beat yourself up if you don't feel like you are where you should be at this moment. That is totally fine. Stick with it. It is a practice and it'll get easier with time. We're going to be focusing on our breath. So, anytime we're doing yoga, this is a good time to focus on breath work. It's kind of like built into the practice, which is fabulous. So, what we want to do is we want to detoxify. And how we do this is we breathe in through our nose and we breathe out through our mouth. This helps relax our nervous system and also, like you guessed it, detoxify our body. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And of course, if you do need water next to you, I'm a big water fan. So definitely grab some water and have a quick drink before we get started, and then we'll get started. Okay, so to get started, what we need to do is we need to get in a nice, comfortable seated position. So you can be seated here on the ground in a cross-legged position. If this is not accessible to you, feel free to be seated in a chair. It's totally fine. The only difference is your legs are just going to be down, but the motions that we're going to be doing are going to be similar. So this is kind of the first pose that we're going to be doing. I just prefer to be seated in a cross-legged position. So feel free to hop in a chair or to get seated in the ground. Once you get there, what we want to do is we want to focus on starting to strengthening up our spine through our posture. So pull those shoulder blades back, really engage those back muscles, those back upper muscles. So pull those shoulder blades together. And then you're going to tuck in the pelvis. That way, we really have a very straight spine. And just make sure your chin is in line with your heart. So you can kind of see it just feels like it's very much so in line. And once we get here, we're going to just sit for a second and connect to our body. Just see how it feels. Take a couple deep breaths in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Good. Okay, so for the first one, what we want to do is we're going to try to open up the hips a little bit and work on our root chakra. So we're going to come forward with our head and our chin, our chest. And as we come around, we're going to round the spine and tuck in the navel. And then as we come forward again, we're going to push out our chest, push out our chin, come to the other side. And we're going to tuck in the navel as we go back. We will be switching sides. So whichever side you intuitively feel like you want to do is totally fine. And as you do this, imagine just inhaling through your nose as you come across. And then as you come back, exhaling. Okay. And once you get this rhythm down, we're going to do this for just a few rounds. And do honor your body. So if you want to go slower than I'm going, or if you want to go faster than I'm going, feel free to do whatever speaks to you. Okay, one more on this side. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side. So feel free to come back to the center. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to lean towards the other side, pull back so we tuck in that navel, and then come up to the front, pushing out our chest, pushing out our chin, and then exhaling as we tuck in that navel. Do a couple rounds here. Okay, one more round. Maybe make this one really slow, really yummy. You'll definitely feel just those hips kind of opening up and then come back to center. Very good. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to come to tabletop position. So, however you need to do to get there, just transition to our tabletop position. And tabletop position is essentially putting both your feet flat on the floor. And then we're going to put both of our palms flat on the floor. And you're going to want to kind of railroad track these. So make sure that they kind of line up with your knees, line up with your palms, and your feet line up with your knees. It gives us a lot more support. So for this one, we're going to do cat cow. So to begin, we're going to inhale and we're going to flex the spine down towards the ground while lifting the chin up as if we are looking at the sky as high as we can. And then we're going to flex it. So we're going to pull that. It's almost like they call this the cat pose that, you see cats do this all the time. So pull, tuck in that spine and really pull up on the back and then tuck in the chin. So inhale, flex, exhale, tuck in the chin and flex the spine up to the ceiling. Inhale, flex the spine down to the ground, open up the chin, and then exhale. And keep this rhythm going for a few breaths. And again, if you feel like you want to go quick, you can, or if you feel that you like the rhythm that we're at, I'm feeling a little bit more slow today, feel free to go at a slower pace. We're really just kind of warming up that spine. All right, let's do one more. Okay. And before we get into a seated position, as we're already here, take a moment just to kind of bump your butt around, kind of give your butt a wag, right? A wiggle, a wag, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to kind of go off the rails and, just kind of look maybe to your foot on the right side, then the left. Give that spine a little bit of a twist. If you need to, if your wrists are feeling, because we are going to be in this tabletop position, if your wrists are feeling a little bit like, oof, give me a break, I'd come up just on your knees here. Just wiggle out your wrists. And then let's get back into tabletop. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we're only going to do 5 rounds of this. This is called the bird dog. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our right hand and we're going to extend it forward. And then we're going to take our left foot and we're going to extend it And then as we come in, we're going to kind of crunch down and try to get our elbow to meet our knee. Even if it doesn't, even if you can get it a little bit far, and then go back to tabletop position. And once you feel stabilized, we're going to go on the other side. So you can do your left hand up and then your right knee. And if you need to move anything that you put out, feel free to move it. And then you're going to crunch on the exhale and then bring it down. So we're going to do 5 rounds of these. You can do them as quickly or slowly as you want to. Um, But really what you want to focus on is really balancing because it's called bird dog, but it's also called balancing table. So you're building a lot of strength, even though it's such a simple move, you're really building a lot of strength. So let's go ahead and get started. Right hand out and then the left leg and then exhale crunch back to table. Other side, uh, exhale and then back to tabletop. And then keep this up for 4 more rounds. Okay, and I believe I only have 1 round left, or I might be doing an extra round. I kind of lost track. That's totally okay. Okay, so once we do that, feel free to come back to your seated position. So get to it however you feel comfortable. Ooh, get nice and situated. Feel a little, there we go. Pillow wasn't too straight. Get everything just situated. Feel good. That one kind of builds up a little bit of um your fire. So you're probably feeling a little sweaty on that one. It's great for balancing. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is we're going to do the seated spinal twist. So we're going to put both of our hands with our thumbs on the back of the shoulders and our fingers in the front. This one is my absolute favorite move. I love doing this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale to the left and we're going to just twist our spine as much as we can to the left. And then we're going to exhale on the right. Inhale on the left, exhale on the right. Inhale on the left, exhale on the right. And be sure to pull your shoulders back. Again, posture really does matter for this. We're building up strength in our core. So try to keep as straight as the back as you can. Again, honor everybody has a different shaped spine. We are not all just a straight spine. So honor where your spine is. Okay. So as straight as you can get it and really engage that core. All right. I'm going to let you go loose. So again, inhale on the left, exhale on the right, inhale on the left, exhale on the right. And keep this up. Okay, just one more, and then come to the center. And for this one, I like to take just a moment before transitioning right to the next thing, as the twisting of the spine, especially for the length of time that we just did it, can kind of feel a little spinny, right? So I like to take just a moment just to kind of collect my energy so I don't feel that like spin so much. Okay, when you feel nice and ready, we're going to transition into what is called rock pose. So, rock pose is essentially where we're going to be seated here on our heels. Now, I am not a big fan of just sitting directly on my heels. Sometimes it feels comfortable and accessible, not always. What I like to do is I like to take my little pillow here and I like to put a little cushion. I'm telling you, it can sometimes make a world of a difference just having this cushion on. So, get into a comfortable position that feels comfortable for you. Again, if this is not accessible to you, just be seated in a chair. What we're going to do is we're going to have very simple movements. So we are going to keep our neck and our spine as straight as we can get it. And all we're going to do is we're going to start with our hands towards our knees, and we're going to not move our neck or chin, but pull back our elbows so they kind of pull as far back as we can. We're really working on opening up this chest and pulling back on that upper and mid back, strengthening those two areas. And on the exhale, we come right back to our hands on our knees. So inhale, pull back, exhale down to the knees. Inhale, pull back. Exhale down to the knees. Inhale, pull back. Exhale down to the knees. And just keep this rhythm going. Just a few more rounds. Okay, and then one more. Really pull back and then just release. Fantastic. So I'm going to come to the front, and what we're going to do is we're going to sit back in that cross-legged position. And now we're going to do a side body stretch. So this is really going to stretch out all this ribs, all the abdomen here, but this is also where in Chinese medicine our gallbladder meridian runs. So this is going to be great to stretch out the gallbladder meridian. So we were going to put our right hand on the ground, and then we're just going to take our left hand, and as we inhale, we're going to swing it over our head, just tilt over. And then take a couple of breaths here. So in through the nose and then out through the mouth. And if you want, you can kind of pulse if you want to get a little bit more of a stronger stretch. You could always wave your hand back and forth, even move your neck. Just do whatever speaks to you, what your body is calling for. Great. So now we're going to exhale and bring our left hand down to the ground. And now we're going to raise our right hand and then stretch towards the left. So again, just find what feels good to you. Maybe take a couple of head turns. If you want, pulse, stretch back. Okay. And then inhale, really reach, reach, reach. And then exhale, bring this right hand back down to the ground. Okay, let's do it on the other side. So inhale, bring this arm up and really stretch to the right side. Again, just kind of get funky with it. Just do what feels good to you. There are really no right answers in yoga, okay? Just really listen to your body. This is how we tune into our body and listen to our body. What does our body need? Not what you're exactly being instructed. Okay, take one more inhale and stretch, 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 stretch. And then relax and exhale and bring your hand down the ground. Fantastic. Okay, let's inhale and go to the other side. Okay, inhale and stretch, 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 stretch. And then exhale, bring it back down. Very good. So this next move is my one of my absolute favorites as well. It's so simple, but a lot of us sit at a computer all day long, so we get a lot of tension up here in our shoulders and our neck. So we just kind of want to open that up, and we have a lot of our lymph node systems that run around along here. Okay, and our lymph systems, if you're not aware, does not have a pump. Okay, so it's not like our circulatory system that has a heart that's pumping all these fluids through, and this is kind of where all that mucus comes from. So when you're sick or you have low immunity, it's really good to work on this area to get that lymph moving. So what we're going to do is we are going to pull our shoulders up on an inhale as high up to our ears as we possibly can. And then we're going to release them. And I mean, just let them relax and really kind of think about tacking some weight onto your elbows, really pulling these shoulders back. You will feel kind of this stretch right here in your chest. Okay, so let's try that again. So pull up towards your ears on an inhale. And then release on an exhale and pull those elbows down, pull those shoulders back, and really feel that stretch in your chest. Inhale, pull up. Exhale, pull down. Okay. And I'm gonna turn you loose. The inhale on the up and then the exhale on the down. And we're just gonna do this for a few rounds. So inhale up, exhale down. And feel free to go at your own pace, whatever feels best. You can go faster or slower. Just a few more rounds. And then one more. Very good. So the next position that we're going to do is called just a neck roll. So we're not going to really crunch the neck up. What we want to do is we're going to just kind of roll the neck down to our left, tuck in the chin to the chest, and then roll it over to the side. And then we're going to go on the other side. So for the breath, you want to think of just inhaling, maybe down to the right, and then exhaling to the left, but really focus on nose inhalation and then a mouth exhalation. So we'll do that just for a few rounds. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's go to the left side and then we'll look to the left and then we'll kind of pull our chin down and start to rotate our neck to the right until we're looking over to the right. And then exhale down to the other side. And you may notice, I'm noticing for me, that when I come back down and look to the left, my right side is actually much tighter. It's very tight. So I must have slept on it wrong. So even if the sides don't completely match, that's totally fine and normal. Okay, let's just do a couple more rounds. Let's say so maybe three more rounds. Okay, and then finish up this last round and then come back to center. Fantastic. Okay, so we have just two moves left. They're very simple. We're kind of just slowing down again and just kind of opening up our back, our chest, and really trying to balance out those hormones. So for this next move, what we want to do is we're going to come into a tabletop position again. So however you want to get comfortable. And if you want a bolster or a pillow, you can feel free to grab that. It's not necessary. You don't need it. For me, again, being pregnant, I may just want a little extra padding here, but let's see how it goes. So what we're going to do is we are going to sit on our knees here and have them out a little bit. We're going to kind of open the knees up wide, and then we're going to bend forward and we're going to kind of just allow the forehead to relax on the yoga mat while our hands are straight out in front of us. So this is called child's pose, and the bum will kind of be in the air. And we're just going to relax into this for 5 deep breaths. You to just sway your hips if that feels good. Take one more breath here. Okay, and then come up so you can kind of like just um, cat paw your your hands up and getting you into tabletop position. And the last move we are going to do is going to be a variation of Shavasana. So Shavasana is basically dead man's pose. We're going to do this at the end. This is where we integrate all the energy work that we just did and allow ourselves time to relax because in this day and age, we are on the go so often, we don't allow ourselves time to relax. But this one's going to be a variation. So what we're going to do is get to your flat back, laying down with keep your knees up and get nice and comfy. I like to use a pillow. Again, this is all about comfort, right? You don't have to sit directly on the floor. And then what we're going to do is we're going to open our knees wide and our toes are actually going to come to meet kind of like palm to palm. Okay. And then we're just going to kind of relax open. This is called kind of relaxed cobbler's pose. And we're really kind of opening up these hips. Now, if this doesn't feel comfortable to you, or if you say you're just here, that is okay. Again, this is a practice. We're really opening it up. So just go as far as it feels comfortable to you, and you'll really kind of just feel this into your lower back and then also into your front hip flexors. And if you need, you can also use your hands to kind of add support. Or if you also want, you can add pillows to support yourself here. So we're just going to lay in this pose and relax for a few deep breaths. Just a few more rounds of breath. Awesome. And if you feel comfortable here, feel free just to put your legs out straight. Take some more relaxing breaths here. If not, the yoga set is done. I hope you've really enjoyed this and I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining me. Sat Nam.